one of the things that's really helped me with producing podcasts is listening to other shows for inspiration. That's maybe a little bit generic, but it's really helped me kind of, again, refine the tone and voice that I want for this show.
There's over 1.9 million podcasts. Most of them never see the results they expected. They want to monetize, but their show ends up costing them money, and they never achieve the listenership they desire. This show will help you launch, grow, monetize, and inspire with your podcast. Get ready to take notes, because here's your host, Adam Adams.
Hey, it's Adam Adams, and generally, as you may have gotten accustomed to, any even-numbered episode is supposed to be me alone pouring into you and your business. However, I did so many different interviews with so many really, really good people that on this episode today, even though this would typically just be me pouring into your business, me just sharing something short, like 5, 10, 20 minutes, where I poured into you and your podcast and growing your brand and really getting you in front of everybody. I'm going to do that today with an interview. So let's get right into it. And we're back with another episode of the Pop Podcast on Podcasting. It's Triple A, your host, and just excited to add a little bit of value to you. I've got Jason Kress on the show, who is a podcast producer. He produces a show for himself and also for his company. And I don't know why I keep forgetting the name of your company. I'm going to pull it up. CoServe. The company is CoServe, and they're providers of two things out in the North Texas area, which is, I think, gas and electric. Is that right?
Yep. Electric and natural gas.
Perfect. Jason, let me go into your bio. I appreciate you keeping it short for someone dyslexic like me. Jason is an ideal team player with keen insight and sharp wit. I love that. He lives in North Texas with his wife, Marlene, and his 1-year-old son, Remy. And Jason co-hosts and co-produces 2 podcasts as a meter of fact. Of course, that's the one with CoServe, as a meter of fact, and the podcast for your life. What's going on, man? How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing good, Adam. Thanks so much for having me on the show today.
Oh, thrilled to have you. And the main goal of having guests on the show is to get your experience, what you've done. And with 2 podcasts, you've got a lot of good experience, and you actually co-produce and co-host both shows. So you've got a lot of remarkable talent and experience that I think is really going to we'll be able to delve deep for the podcaster who's listening and wanting to grow their show. I wanted to start by, maybe we can talk a little bit about CoServe, which is, as we talked, North Texas, etc. But who are they? What do they do? And why do they have a podcast?
Yeah. So CoServe is an electric and gas distribution company in North Texas. North Texas is like the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, that kind of area, just south of Oklahoma. And we are in primarily Denton and Collin County, for folks who know the area. So just north of kind of the cities, Fort Worth and Dallas. And we just deliver excellent service to our members and customers by providing safe and reliable energy solutions. We have about 400,000 customers right now, and that includes both electric and natural gas. And one of the things we wanted to do when we were talking about starting a podcast for the company is we wanted to use that platform or that channel to be able to enhance our customers' experiences on our lines. Whether they're on gas, whether they're on electric, they have both. We want to help them get the most out of their experience, which is a little bit unique because a lot of utilities, they just kind of send you your bill each month and you pay it and the lights stay on and the water keeps running. But we wanted to do more than just that. We wanted our relationship with our customers to be more than that. We wanted to kind of give them a bigger picture of what life is like here in North Texas, what life is like here in the CoServe community. So that was kind of the focus. And we said, yeah, what can we do to make people's lives better? How can we help them save money? How can we share about what we've learned over the past 80 years, local stories of members or people who are making a difference in the community? And here we are, 1 year later. We've been doing the show for about a year. It's been great so far.
Nice. Congrats. That's great. And have you been co-host and co-producer since the beginning?
Yeah. Since day one for the podcast, they kind of had me do a lot of the production, recording, hosting. I'm actually a co-host. So my other co-host, her name's Sarah Ellis, and she does a fantastic job. We've got some really great chemistry for the show. And yeah, we just really tackle listener questions. And when new stories come up, we jump on them. And it's been fun. We've learned a lot along the way over the past year. But it's been cool to see, the audience grow slowly and be able to just kind of see things take off.
Jason, what challenges did you have to overcome over the last year or so in order to launch this podcast, start this podcast, and kind of get it out in front of your target audience?
Yeah, there's always going to be, some of your basics. Hey, we got to get the right equipment. We got to start writing scripts and stuff. But I think the biggest challenge for CoServe was figuring out what's going to be the show's tone or, the flavor. What's, as a matter of fact, going to sound like. And so we spent a lot of time on the first episode, really. So that launched back in April 2020. And yeah, it was a little bit of not a bottleneck, but things were tight for a little while just because we wanted to make sure we got things right. And so we wanted to make sure, okay, is this what we want to sound like? Is this kind of the format? And then once we got that settled, that just helped pave the way for, all the following episodes. So kind of defining who we are, what we want the show to sound like, that was probably the biggest challenge that we had to overcome from the get-go. And I think the current challenge we're facing is just expanding our audience. We have 400,000 customers in North Texas. We'd love for all of them to listen to our show, obviously, but it's how do we get more folks on board? How are we sharing? How are we marketing the show? That's kind of the current challenge that we're facing that, all new podcasts are going to face is how do I, find more people to listen to the show?
Awesome. So working out the how to sound, the story that you were to share, all of those things were things that you focused on. And how did you come up with the story that you needed to and the content that was going to be important for your perfect target? So it sounds like it was a challenge. It sounds like you're over it now. But the biggest question is for the listener, something tangible that's going to help them, regardless of what their show is, to be able to solve those same things for their podcast.
Mm-hmm. Finding relevant content has been something that's always been back of mind for us because, again, like I said, it's an electric and gas company. It's a utility. What can we do that is relevant? Now, we have a lot of ideas of what's going to be relevant, what we think is going to help people get the most out of their experience. But then obviously we have to get that feedback from our listeners and from our customers as well. So kind of finding that balance and that relationship. When we were starting the show, we wanted to kind of plan the first year of episodes. So figuring out what's going to be, how frequent can we produce stuff, which obviously you have to tweak and refine as time goes on. Like recently we had, bi-weekly episodes planned for this one new kind of subset of our show. And we pulled back after 2 episodes whoa, okay, we may have been off more than we can chew because it's taking a lot more work. So stuff like that of when you're going through that first year of your podcast, trying to figure out a regular schedule, trying to produce regular content, but also being realistic with how much we can produce. And then if you are reaching out to guests, if you're interacting with other departments in your company or you're having outside guests on your show, those fluctuate. Sometimes we get people who hop up sooner than other stuff that we were working on. So kind of being flexible is really important in your first year of podcasting. And I'd say, all the time being flexible and kind of going with the flow of new content that comes in and stuff that we reach out to people about.
So it sounds like you have guests on your show. Was that part of the original 1 year of pre-outlined what we're going to talk about, having guests on the show? And number 2, if you're bringing on really awesome guests, where do you find them and how do you kind of go there? So was it part of the original plan to have guests? And if so, how do you get those good guests?
Having guests was definitely the original plan. Who they were obviously depended on what the specific episode was about, but I can give you some examples of our first year. When we kicked off in April, obviously we were a month into the pandemic, so that definitely changed a little bit of our plans. But one thing that came up was CoServe sponsors several local sports teams like FC Dallas, which is a Major League Soccer, Frisco Rough Riders, which are a double A level minor league baseball team. And then we even have a partnership with Texas Motor Speedway for NASCAR. And during that spring, we wanted to know, like, what are you guys up to? Obviously we sponsor you guys, but games aren't happening. So what's going on? What are the teams doing? And Sarah and I were able to interview a player from FC Dallas that we weren't planning on interviewing up until the pandemic. And so we were able to say, hey, what do you do for practice? What do you do to stay fit? Like, how's the team doing? So being able to interview a player from the team, we interviewed the coach, interviewed some managers from the Rough Riders, and then interviewed Eddie Gossage, who's the president of Texas Motor Speedway. Just the like timeliness of that, subject and the pandemic, and then also our relationship kind of opened the door where, hey, the podcast is still new, but we think this would be a great topic to go over. It gives you guys visibility, gives us visibility. So that kind of connection really helped. So again, finding the right guest at the right time was awesome. Since then, some additional types of guests we've had, a lot of internal folks. So people who work for CoServe, we have a lot of experts in their field, whether it's engineering or the electric industry as a whole, or even people who are just really good with giving people the science behind how to save money on your electric bill. So showcasing, hey, CoServe has experts on staff. They can really help you. They know what they're doing. They're very experienced. That's been a great source of great guests for us, is showcasing our company experts. And so we're definitely going to continue to do the experts. If we're able to continue to talk with local celebrities and stuff, I think we'll look forward to that as well. But really, it's been kind of like, what connections do we have here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area? And then what topics are we working on that we want to interview some of our experts about?
Got it. Sometimes when you're having a podcast, sometimes you can add good content by having the people that work with you. Like for you, I feel like you do feel really good about having those experts and highlighting them. One way to get, because I remember you said one thing that you're still wanting to do is you have X amount of listeners, but I think like you serve 400,000 clients, and you really want to have a bigger majority of them listening to the podcast. My thought for you would be, what if you started having them on your show, like your perfect client, somebody that is in the industry, they're part of the community, and they're more likely to be people that might end up sharing the podcast with their friends. Be like, oh my gosh, I just got on this whatever podcast, and that might contribute to the growth of the podcast much faster than having internal people. As I think that this is something that's important for all people to think through. So it's like some of my episodes I should have just me. Some of my episodes I might want to have a guest. But usually when we have the guests, oftentimes you're going to want to have not just a famous guest, but you might want to have a guest who is exactly like your perfect avatar, like somebody that you could serve and somebody who related to your listener really, really well because they were alongside with them. So it's an idea that may help anyone grow a podcast, considering who am I going to use as a guest, and are they going to share the podcast? Are they going to like the podcast? And hey, this won't count for you specifically because with CoServe, you don't really have any competition. But like some other consultants or things like that, if they're adding all of this value, then people are going to be like, oh, I want to use that person instead of this other person. So just a couple of thoughts. I wanted to ask you, Jason, you're using a nice mic. You've got headphones on. You've been doing this for a year. You have more than one podcast. You also do the post-production, editing. What tips, tricks, and strategies are there? Like automation tools, for example, things that make your life easier to be able to host the show, or just some hacks that that you've noticed have really worked for your show?
Yeah. I feel like when it comes to automation, we're still finding ways to automate things. That's probably an ongoing thing. So I don't know if I have any like expert advice in that area. The only thing I could think of as far as hacks would be one of the things that's really helped me with producing podcasts is listening to other shows for inspiration. That's maybe a little bit generic, but it's really helped me kind of, again, refine the tone and voice that I want for this show. But it's also helped us with episode ideas, networking with other shows, but just the kind of idea of, man, what this show did in that one episode was really unique, or how can we recreate that, or how can we do something similar with ours? So just listening to that for inspiration, both fiction, nonfiction, that's been one of the biggest ones. I find that I learn a lot by listening to other shows. Obviously, they're enjoyable. There's so many good podcasts out there. So being able to learn from other shows and be inspired by other shows has probably been one of the tips I'd give out that has helped us the most with podcasting.
I like that a lot. So for automation, you said you're still kind of learning. What automation tools do you use?
Yeah. Can you clarify a little bit what you mean by automation tools? Like what would be an example maybe that you use? Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Calendly for me.
Okay, nice.
Calendly is something that, and my Zoom and how they integrate with each other. So I send you, all I need is your name and email. And then my team sends out a template email that says some of the questions that we might ask. It makes sure that you agree to us being able to disseminate, distribute the podcast however I want, like in speeches, in books if I write one, in future podcasts, etc. But it's already kind of set it and forget it, and I send your name and email to my assistant, and she just sends out a template email. And as part of that, there's a Calendly link in there. And then you'll just click the Calendly link. You'll see the times that I have available, which are always available on my calendar. And one of the coolest things is when you set that up, it integrates with Zoom. And so it propagates a brand new, unique Zoom link. So it's not my personal link, and I don't have 5 people on at the same time, because it's a brand new one just for you and the person that I have coming on the show right after you. They'll never be able to come and join this or interrupt us. They have their own unique Zoom link. And so Calendly has been one thing that's automated all of this process. It sends follow-up emails. It sends an email like an hour before. I don't have to think about it. It just says, hey, just want to make sure you're ready for your podcast with Adam in an hour from now. And that allows me to be able to focus on my lane and focus on, other things. I'll meet you, Jason, and I'll say, I really like him. I want him to come on my show and add some value. Mm-hmm. And that's all I do. Everything else is set until we get here, where you send your bio. Shows up in my calendar automatically. It just shows up in the calendar. I don't have to go and search for emails or anything. But on my calendar, I can click on there, look at you and I, our meeting, and all of your answers to every question is in there, including your bio, which helps me to be able to keep it all in one place. And once I'm done with the Zoom, it's recording to the cloud right now. It just goes to the cloud. The team pulls it out of the cloud, does all of the post-production, and kind of sets it. So I'm able to record 6, 7, 8 episodes a week, but with only those 6, 7, or 8 meetings, I don't have to think about anything else. And sometimes there's other automation tools that you might be able to use, where some people, they use Canva, for example. Canva, I think it's .com. But it helps them to be able to have a template for a promotional image that they can send to somebody. And there's all sorts of other options, but that's some of the automation tools that I use.
Yeah, those are great. That's probably better than the stuff that I have. Yeah, like I said, we're still kind of working on automation stuff, but that calendar stuff, that sounds really good. I'll have to we'll have to look into that for our team as the interviews and stuff will probably increase in the coming months.
Cool. Happy to help if you have any questions. But I always love getting ideas from guests who have just this little hack that I've never heard of. So, for example, what kind of mic do you use?
Yeah, this is a Shure SM48, I believe. Yep. And so it's just your basic dynamic microphone, I believe it is. Yeah, and it works. We use a Zoom mixer, the Live Track L8. I think we actually bought it like the month it came out. So definitely
6 months ago.
This one,
when did the L8
yeah, like a year
out?
ago. Yeah,
Okay.
It was like brand new. We were looking into other mixers and stuff, and we said, "Oh wow, this new one from Zoom came out." So definitely fans of Zoom around here. We use the handheld ones for field recording, and we use this mixer for studio stuff. So it's been great. Yeah, we're big fans.
So let's hear on your Zoom P8. You're going to have 9 buttons on there, right?
Let's see the Live Track L8. It has a lot of buttons.
Oh, it's the L8.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know about the L8 very well.
Yeah.
But this is the whatever, the Rode.
Yep. Classic.
So yeah, it's fun. It's got the crickets too, if you want.
Nice. Yeah.
Anyway.
I could probably, that would really help because I do a lot of bad jokes on our shows. So that might be good for us.
It's good deal. What other equipment do you use? How do you do the post production? Are you the editor?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So in addition to the hosting, script writing, I also do primarily all the editing. So I use Adobe Audition for that.
Okay.
That's kind of been my go-to. So yeah, all the recording goes into Audition, and then piecing it all together. And headphones. I think we use AKGs. Your kind of generic. This one's a yellow XLR cable. And then we're kind of redoing our studio. That's why it's so boring right now, because they're working on it still. And, but we will probably have some nice chairs and couches. So we have like floor mic stands so that we can move them around based off of whatever the room is set up. So
do you record video?
We don't. No, we just do audio for now. So
got it.
Yeah. Most of the videos would just be like me and Sarah in our closets. So it'd probably be pretty uneventful.
Okay.
And we also do.
But you're in the office now.
Yeah. I'm in the office today. A lot of the stuff we do it's not just a straight, to kind of describe the format of our show. It's not always like a straight interview. A lot of times it's like B-roll or sound bites from our interviews with people, or from times in the field where we're showing audio that we capture. And then we do like voiceovers on top of that. So there's a lot of this back and forth stuff. So video hasn't really been as much of an option, just because it's going to be all over the place. Oops, sorry. For that. So that's been like probably the reason why we haven't done more videos, because a lot of the stuff is more of your artistic portrayal or artistic format of stuff with voiceovers and sound effects and songs and stuff like that. So yeah.
Nice. Okay, so Jason, what I want to do is I want to reverse the roles a little bit and have you ask me whatever you want to ask me. So why don't shoot? Here goes. Go.
Yeah.
Do it.
All right. What has been your biggest challenge with podcasting, either starting out or current challenges that you're in? What's your biggest challenge you're seeing these days?
For me, the big challenge that I have is when I have it scheduled in my calendar through Calendly and everything, that I'm going to sit with you, I'm not going to miss it. I might be a couple minutes late because of the previous episode or something, but I'm not going to miss our appointment. And even though I have a lot going on in my business and I need to do so many different things, it's easy to record this episode. But half of my episodes are me alone dropping quick, valuable nuggets. And it's difficult to time block those out because there's just so many things in our business, yours as well, where you've got a fire to put out and you procrastinate putting on that episode by yourself because you just say, oh, it's just me. I don't need to keep Jason waiting. So I'm going to go ahead and do that tomorrow, or I'm going to do that after this, or I'm going to do that next week, or there's still time, and it gets procrastinated. And I still want to deliver at a high level with the solo episodes because they're shorter, they're short and sweet, they pack a punch. And also I think it's important for the listener to know that I can help them, so I want to give that for so many reasons. But it is a challenge. It's a challenge to record that episode. Other than that, let me think if I have any challenges happening right now. One challenge is whenever I come up with a new logo for me or a client, like even when I'm doing it on my own, and currently, it's interesting, but the podcast on podcasting logo doesn't exist as we record this. Obviously, when the listener is listening, they'll be like, "Oh, there it is." But I have about 7 or 8 or something. It's around 8 different logo ideas, and here's the biggest problem: I like all of them.
Yeah.
Every logo idea looks good, and I want elements from every option, and I'm getting that serious FOMO when I say no to a different logo idea. So those are a couple, and then I'm definitely still trying to figure out this Rodecaster.
Yeah.
It's new.
Yeah.
It's new
You got to master the sound effects.
Yeah. I can do it like this. There we go. And then you can fade it out.
Nice.
And you can keep it barely there, like this.
Yes.
Or if it's the end of the episode, we can bring it back out.
See you later.
Anyway, or you can just cut it off.
Yeah. For effect. We do that when we're trying to land a punch with a joke or something like that. We're like.
So I'm still learning how to use my Rodecaster and then those other 2 things. What are any other questions that you have for me, Jason?
Yeah. Last one is, you mentioned, you do a lot of these interviews back to back. How do you stay fresh with back to back interviews, and how do you keep things personal for each guest?
Well, I feel like the personal comes naturally for me because I just like people, and I'm always going to be interested in the next person. Staying fresh, 2 things. Number 1, can you hear yourself on your own headset, Jason?
Yeah, usually. Yeah.
Okay. So I used to not have that. I used to have it where I'm wearing a pair of headphones and it's blocking out a lot of the outside noise so I can barely even hear my own self. And I didn't have my own sound coming back into my ears. And so what I was doing is I was screaming. I was really overusing my voice a lot. It was hurting my voice, making it difficult to go into the next one. Additionally, I was on my mic itself. Sorry, I hit my mic when I was trying to talk about it. On my mic itself, it would be so distorted because I would be being so loud and it wasn't there to take it.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize that. So I finally got it so that I could hear myself. So that's been able to really save my voice a lot through a whole day. I can do back to back to back, and I won't destroy my voice. So that's just because I'm trying to mix minus working through everything, and I can hear me and I can hear you.
Nice.
So there's that. And then additionally, what was the question? How do I stay fresh? Well, I don't eat anything. I don't eat breakfast. I don't eat lunch. I don't eat until I get home after doing the back-to-back interviews.
Wow.
I do my interviews in my office. I have 2 kids, and it's still COVID times. And so my kids are essentially homeschooled. It's not called homeschool. It's the teacher but they do it at home. It's not a hybrid learning or anything. They do it all at the house. And so I'd probably get too distracted and bothered by the noise. So I got myself a little man cave, if you will, an office where I can come and it's a good place. It's quiet. I don't have distractions. That helps. I think that the not eating helps just because sometimes you get groggy or there's like phlegm type of stuff that can build up in your mouth and throat right after you eat proteins and sugars.
Yeah.
So I don't have to deal with that. And you saw me in the beginning while I was doing the pre-interview with you. What was I doing, Jason? I was literally stretching. I stood up.
Yeah.
I went back and forth and I was stretching and I was just talking with you. So, standing up once an hour at least, it helps.
Yes.
Again. And then,
yeah,
I think that's
great.
about it.
Yeah. Yeah. The eating tip is a really good one because sometimes we'll do it after lunch. And yeah, you got to be careful when you're on mic after lunch. Those chest noises, they can not be pleasant. Thankfully, everything we do isn't live. So that's the beauty of post-production editing is you can take all the bloopers out. So
yeah. Well, good deal. What is the last thing that you want to leave with a brand new podcaster, somebody who's about to start their show, and you could only tell them one thing?
Well, I would say my suggestion would be if you're getting into podcasting, do it because you love doing it. I think there's maybe a bit of a pressure nowadays to do it as a business or do it as a source of income. But I think being able to do a podcast because you love it, everything involved from writing scripts to scheduling stuff with guests to recording to all the editing stuff from start to finish, whatever that entails. If you enjoy that and it sparks joy for you, to use the Marie Kondo term, I think you found yourself a good either hobby or a good gig. When things start to get dry, I think that's when it can be really hard to stay motivated. But if you're able to just wake up in the morning and put on your headphones, get your microphone set up, start recording, and as long as you continue to find joy in that, I think that that's going to continue to push you onward. I know that motivation can sometimes be a challenge. We've experienced that sometimes when we're saying, okay, well, have we already talked about this too much? Do we need to do a different angle of this subject or topic? So there definitely are topics and episodes that are going to be more interesting or more fun to record or produce than others. But I think finding at the end of the day, if you can find joy in what you do, I think that's going to be the thing that pushes onward. So my one takeaway would be just to find joy in whatever topic or whatever niche your podcast is about.
Thank you, Jason. I appreciate you jumping on. And what's the best way? Try to only give me one, not every social media handle that you have or anything like that.
Sure.
What's the best way for the listener to find you and get a hold of you?
Sure. Yeah, I'm on Twitter, I guess, would probably be a good one, at JC4, like FOR, JC24. Or you can find me, Jason Kress. I think I'll probably show up. You can also find CoServe on our social media channels at CoServe, COSERV.
Awesome. Thank you, Jason. Appreciate you jumping on. And if you're listening and you're wanting to launch your podcast, go to growyourshow.com. We can support you. We can help you. We can help you get a top 10% show or a top 1% show where you are able to actually get that traction, the listeners, the downloads, the ratings, the reviews, everything that you want all in one package. And our claim to fame is you just push the record button and everything else is done for you. It goes to the cloud. My team writes your show notes for you. We create all of the promotional images and we email your guest. So if you're looking for a full done for you service, perfect, growyourshow.com. And I have a vested interest in that company. So just in full disclosure, I started it, I founded it, and I launched it because I've done this on my own. It was tough. It was a lot. And I wished that there was a company out there that could allow me to literally just push the record button, stay in my lane. And I guess like Jason was saying a moment ago, how do you stay motivated? How do you stay fresh? It solves a lot of that issue when all you got to do is push record and everything else is taken care of. So go to growyourshow.com. And if you want to look up some different levels of microphones and other technology that you might be able to buy for your podcast to get it started, you can go to growyourshow.com/PDF. And it's just a PDF with some links on there to, what is it called? Amazon. So you can jump into Amazon and select, hey, I want a better mic than I have now. You can easily upgrade by just clicking that link. So hopefully that was helpful. Jason, thanks for jumping on. Really appreciate it. Going through your experience with the two different podcasts. Oh, what's your other podcast? Is it changing up right now?
Yeah, my hobby podcast is called Podcast for Your Life. The generic idea or the generic name is intentional. If you listen to the episodes, you'll find out why. You can find us on all of the channels, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. And I think if you go to like P-O-D, for your life .transistor.fm, I think is our website. We're with Transistor for hosting. That'll give you all of our episodes. And we basically cover one subject per episode in 15 minutes or less. So if you want to hear people...
15 or 50?
15, yeah. So if you want to hear people talk about salads for 15 minutes and get really deep into the concept of salads, it's a perfect show for you. You know, for example. So,
I want to jump on and I want to talk about fasting. Have you had anyone talk about intermittent fasting yet?
I think we've covered the subject, I think once. Because we were talking about meals or something. So yeah, it's cool. You can talk about anything. I lost like
51 pounds due to intermittent fasting. It's
nice.
It's huge.
Congrats.
Yeah, love it. Yep. All right, brother. Thanks for coming on. I'm going to let you go.
Thanks.
Bye for now. You're not alone if you're ready to either get your very first affordable microphone or if you're ready to upgrade your equipment to some legit podcasting studio equipment. Because on all of the forums over the last few months, I'm seeing this all the time. Even my own personal clients that work with my team, they're ready to get that next microphone. They're asking us for it. Additionally, when I'm on discovery calls with potential clients, they're always asking for this stuff. Hey, what mic do you recommend? Hey, what lighting do you recommend? What webcam should I be using? So many questions. And so what we did, my whole team has put together a PDF so that if you're one of those people who is looking to either get your very first affordable microphone, or if you're ready to upgrade your equipment to more professional podcast studio equipment, whether it's soundproofing or whatever, we've got you covered by going to growyourshow.com/PDF. And you can download the PDF for free, or right there on the webpage is everything that you would have and you don't need to download the PDF. Either way, just go to growyourshow.com/PDF, which will put you to the podcasting equipment that me and my team have personally vetted. I'll see you on the next episode.